Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Slay to Success Talk Show. My name is Rochelle, Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. I advise and empower women professionals, especially women veterans, to step up into their most authentic personal brand to gain and attract lucrative opportunities. And we are focusing on 4 different areas. This is our appearance, behaviors, communication skills, and our digital presence. So as you come on in, please let me know that you are in the room, if you will. Hey, Queen. Hey, Chevy. How you doing? Welcome to the show tonight. I know you got a busy evening getting ready for the week, but I'm so glad that you are here with us tonight. So thank you so much. I also see Glenroy on the Facebook side. So Facebook is not trying to let me be great, okay? I don't know what is going on, but I have my phone. All right, so we're going to make sure that anyone that is viewing from the Facebook side, I got you. Okay, I see you because I have my phone sitting right here. But as you are coming on in, please let me know that you are here. Tell us where you're streaming live from. Okay, and just say hey, because I know, sometimes we got a lot going on and you may not even have the time to make some comments, but I know you are watching in the background. So I absolutely appreciate you. Now, what are we doing with Slay? Okay. Well, Slay has got many legs, but if you are new to this space, slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym that stands for Universal Life and Leadership Philosophies that really resonate with me, and hopefully they resonate with you too. And that is stay ready to be ready, lead out loud, a sense of community or a sense of family, whichever one that relates to you, and why you are built to last. Okay, so that's where we start everything from. And she is joining in live from Alabama. Okay, so that's where we start from, y'all. Okay, we don't necessarily have to figure out, all the theories, the principles, and so forth. I've made it very simple. Now, if you are here too, you are part of Slay Nation. What does that mean? So as I'm talking through, you buy into the beliefs that I have, okay? And then you go out and you share with other people. And you have this X factor. You have the it factor, things that people want because they're like, who is this girl or who is this guy? And we want to be around them more and more and more because we have that vibe. Okay, we are bringing that vibe. Good evening, Glenroy. Good evening. Good evening. Okay, I see you on Facebook side and he's streaming live from Henderson, Nevada. Y'all, we used to live in Nevada. Actually, Glenroy, myself, and my husband, we all worked together when we were stationed in Vegas, and he is still there with his lovely bride and children. So I absolutely love that you are here in this space with us tonight. So thank you so much, Glenroy. Okay, because we got a juicy conversation to have. And so I'm here by myself. Usually I have a guest. And when I have the guest, we really talk through, or they talk through their story, their journey, and how they are positively impacting the world by using the Slay philosophies. And so, tonight I didn't have anyone scheduled. And so I said, you know what? It's time for me to share with you all some things that people have asked me over and over and over again. And I'm just going to give you some insights as to what that is. Now, because I am a professional keynote speaker, I am now 5-time author with 2 of them that I am a co-author, and one of them is best-selling, y'all. So now I'm a best-selling co-author. I'm also a personal brand expert or strategist. So I use personal branding as the tool to get to where we want to go, because I use personal branding after I retired from the United States Air Force after serving 30 years. And personal branding is how you want the world to perceive you. All right. It is bringing out your most authentic self. All right. Without any apology. and it's giving you the confidence that you need. And that's why we're mastering these 4 areas: appearance, behaviors, communications, skills, and our digital presence, because all of these different skills or different modes of how we can express ourselves, I'll tell you, it has gotten me to places that I never even thought existed. Now, I live here in the DMV. For those that are not familiar with that terminology, we have the District of Columbia, then we have Maryland, and then we have Virginia. I live in Maryland, and I can get to each one of those places within 30 minutes. So I travel all across the DMV, okay? And I have had so many incredible experiences just by stepping out in my own unique way, with my own unique language and my own unique way of dressing. And people recognize me when I'm at certain events. Now, I'm not that rich and famous type person, but I do make it a point to share with people my story as appropriate to wherever I'm going. And I get a lot of questions. I have a lot of conversations because people are very curious. They're like, who is this person? And lo and behold, y'all, other people are speaking on my behalf now. I don't have to say anything. If I know the people in the room, they will have people come to me and say, oh my goodness, I didn't know you served 30 years in the Air Force. So-and-so just told me. And I was like, oh, here we go. And that's kind of what we want. We want people to speak on our behalf because they know our brand. Okay. They feel our brand. They know that we have so much value to give. And I had to take that in because when I started out after I transitioned from the Air Force, there was a lot going on. Okay, so here are some of the questions that we're going to go over. So I'll just start talking from the top question on down. And then as I'm sharing, if there's anything that really resonates with you, please, please, please share it into the comments. Hey, Uncle Theoitus, my uncle is watching. I see you on Facebook side. What's going on? Okay, so I'm just trying to talk through the top 10 questions that people ask me a lot. Okay, so one of them is, how do I show up when I barely even recognize myself anymore? Like they have transitioned, or maybe they've gone through a major situation and they're like, I'm lost. Maybe they've had children, and they're now grown up and they're leaving. You know how they do us, y'all. They don't stick around. We raise these children up and then they like, we out. Okay. Then now what do I do? What am I doing with myself? And so I usually tell them that, we've outgrown who we were. If we can't recognize who we are in the mirror anymore, we've outgrown that person. And we really haven't stepped into the person that we are becoming. Now, transitions happen all the time. Okay. So if this is happening to you right now, this is the most sacred time, because now you get to stop, take a pause, and really start asking yourself how you're going to show up from, let's talk the 8 dimensions of wellness. Okay. So I share the 8 dimensions of wellness as being part of my brand. If you are struggling, okay, with the emotion, spiritual, social, physical, intellectual, environmental, financial, or intellectual areas of your life, if any one of these areas are neglected, that means that it's going to adversely affect your health and well-being. Okay, so think about it. Where are you from an emotional standpoint, a social, physical, financial, intellectual, which is, learning, growing, personal development, professional development side. Occupational is what you're doing, your work, your passions, all those types of things. Environmental, where you at, where you living, who you living with, those all make a difference as to how you are showing up. And if we are not looking at these areas, I'm telling you, that can really mess you up. And the life that you are desiring to live, you are not going to be able to achieve that because you don't even know who you're looking at. Word of mouth is the single lost significant marketing tool that exists. It not only speaks to the experience a person has had with you, but it gives insight to professionalism, capabilities, timeliness, etc. All right, y'all. Glenn Roy is on the Facebook side. So if you are not tracking his comments, I'm going to need you to really think about getting a pen and a piece of paper because he is dropping gems up in there. And he is absolutely right. Word of mouth is one of those lost things or lost modes of communication where people are speaking on your behalf. You want your presence to speak before you do, meaning they already know what you're going to show up like. They've seen you in action. They know how you make decisions. They know how you carry yourself. All right. All of these little nuances, they matter. Okay. I want to do less talking. All right. And I want to do more listening. So when I'm not talking, other people are talking on my behalf. And so that is kind of how business, because I'm in business now, okay? Even in your career, this is how these things happen, okay? So, but when we are not getting brutally honest about what no longer fits when it comes to the 8 dimensions of wellness, our health in general is going to be off. So we should have a plan on all of those areas and how are we going to fill the needs so we are not completely off. All right. Again, this is if you cannot recognize who you are anymore. Let's just pull it on back. All right. I often say fall back. Let's fall all the way back and kind of look to see where you're at in those particular areas. All right. Now, you have to rebuild your identity from your values. All right. We have to get back to what are your values? What are the core values that you have right now? They are changing. Your needs have changed. So if your needs have changed, your values have changed as well. So that's why you need to go back to the drawing board and ask yourself, what are the things that are most important, my non-negotiables right now? What do I need in the moment so that way I can get back on track to find or rediscover? I don't think anybody's really lost. Maybe you just, had a lot of distractions and there's maybe fog and you're like, oof, I haven't really checked in on me for a minute. All right, this is what we're talking about. Again, this is a good time for you to really start to ask yourself and get yourself into a better line of thought. All right, now we also can start to looking at how you're going to present yourself stylistically. Okay, stylistically. All right, so we have to dress not for where we are right now, but where we are going. Okay. Many times people are like, you know what? I'm just going to buy these pieces of clothes and they're just going to do because, I don't even know right now. Think about where you're trying to go. If you're trying to be, and I am in the speaker realm, author realm, so I'm on stages. I have to dress like I'm going to be on the stage. So that is a head to toe presentation. And I would say and offer to you, even if you're not going to be on stages, this is when we start to say, did I actually go out to wherever I was going, not fully ready and dressed in the outfits that I really wanted to be in? I was slipping. Okay. So if you slipping, let's just figure out what that is, where you're trying to go, and readjust. Okay. Now, that reflection will change when you stop surviving. Okay, some of us are surviving. I was surviving for many years while I was in the military until I realized I had to flip the script. Okay, and then towards the last, I think I would say 8 to 10 years of my career, I was thriving. I was like, no, I cannot, I cannot do this like this. It was not showing up well for me. And I had to make some adjustments. And so I was thriving at the end of my career. So we want to stop surviving, okay? And we want to start creating our presence with purpose. I'm very purposeful. There's nothing that I'm doing that is by happenstance. Okay. And that is where we just go with it. All right. I think about all of the ins and outs of where I'm going, who I'm going to be with, what I'm going to be doing on the show, what am I going to be doing in emails that I send out, what I do with my clients when we have our sessions. These things are purposeful. Okay. And that's the way that we need to start thinking as we reinvent ourselves. Okay. When you feeling lost. That second question that I commonly get is it too late to rebrand myself at the age of 40, 50, or beyond? Okay. So, okay. Before I go on to the question, Chevy got a comment here. We all have lost ourselves in some way. It's about finding our way back to ourselves. Yeah. I mean, I would say, we've always been there. We were there. We just, I don't know what happened. Some way, somehow, something, somebody got into our heads and said, no, you need to stay over here and you need to do X, Y, and Z. And you started doing X, Y, and Z, and then it doesn't feel right for you. And then all of a sudden we're like, why did I even do that? Like, what was I even thinking? This is life, y'all. Okay. In life, things are changing all the time. And it's how you are adjusting to the change and how you getting back up again. All right. We got to pick ourselves back up again. But when we get back up, we come back stronger. Okay. We come back more powerful in our own personal power. So, okay. So Glenroy says, making the journey from survival to thriving is like being reborn in a sense. Survival mode keeps us in the place of acting tactically instead of pragmatically. Absolutely. All right. So, Glenroy brings up a great point here. And so my background again is military. For those that haven't been in this space or haven't heard me talk about my military career experiences, but we talk about the different levels of leadership in the military, and one of them is tactical. Tactical is my hands are on top of everything. I am got my sleeves rolled up and I'm in there doing the work. Okay. Constantly looking at everything, doing everything, being everything. And after a while, you start to learn about being more strategic. And then, it's very interesting how that all starts to change, right? That is, it just has to be, one of those things that you're in tune. All right. We need to make sure that we keep ourselves into a mode of always being above. Okay. Let's be above. We understand a lot more about ourselves as we grow and mature. So instead of just always being in the weeds, okay, we are looking ahead. We are looking ahead to what is that life that I really want to live, and how am I going to set myself up for success? So you're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate that feedback. Love that. Okay, so I'll keep that question as we move forward. Okay, number 2 is it too late to rebrand myself at 40, 50, or beyond? Okay, so I rebranded, reinvented, repurposed, reframed, however you want to call it, at the age of 49. That was the beginning of my journey. Okay, I retired 2021. I was 49. And then the next year, of course, I turned 50. All right, we're doing the math. This is all public math, y'all. But I started to see that some of the things that I was doing in the military was not useful for me at all in this next. And I had to figure out from head to toe. I changed my hairstyle. Okay. This hair has been in 4 different hairstyles since I retired. And I finally settled on this one because it gives me the life, the energy, the ease. I still work out very hard, y'all, as you know, and it still holds up for very well for what I want it to be. My clothes have changed, right? My makeup changed, my shoes changed. Okay, I had boots and all kinds of other things that I just did not want to be wearing. But not only that, my language changed, my communication style changed. I softened up, y'all. I got a lot more in tune to my femininity because I was always going hard right, okay? Hard right and left. It didn't matter. I always was set up making sure that you want to come and you want to go toe to toe with me, that I'm ready. And I didn't want to be in that type of energy anymore. So I had to figure out, like, who is Rochelle without the titles, without the positions, without the parking lot space, okay, without the base housing, the house on base housing, okay, in base housing. There's a lot of things that come with when you get senior in the military. And so that was a military lifestyle. I wanted my own lifestyle, y'all. I wanted to know what this was all about. Okay, so we got some comments here. Hey, Jebba, I see you watching too, Queen. Thank you so much for joining us. And okay, Dr. Lynette Joseph. Hi, Queen. Congratulations on your doctorate. Okay, all right, we got the doctor in the house. And she says, I'm 54 and I find myself rebranding almost every day, not because I'm lost, but because I'm still growing. Self-discovery doesn't end at 40 or 50. Absolutely. That's the mentality. That's where we're at. All right. So this is a constant, maybe one day, you're thinking, I don't know if I can. You absolutely can reinvent, rebrand, redo, whatever reword you want with that, because it's really not about the age. It's about clarity, it's about courage, and it's about consistency. Okay, some of the world's most powerful women that we know, powerful men that we know, didn't stop their brilliance or start in their brilliance until their midlife. Okay, so it's because we've got experience, we got more wisdom, we have the receipts. Okay. So once we start to get to know ourselves better, we do better in certain areas of our life. And we understand we have more time behind us than we do in front of us. Right. So that's the kind of energy that we need. You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome, Queen. Okay. Glenn Roy on Facebook side said, rebranding can actually take place at any time. We never wake up the same person 2 days in a row. One of the lessons that I learned was to always be learning and leaning into new experiences. This makes you a more wholesome person with the ability to walk into and converse in many different rooms with many different people. It's like you're a new, okay? I feel like a new woman all the time. It just depends on where I'm at. So today I had brunch with the girls, okay? We went downtown DC. There was probably about maybe 10 of us. And we were doing it up down there. We were taking over the restaurant. We were acting like we owned the restaurant down there, but we were kikiing it up and everything. It was the whole experience. Like, I felt like this is where we're supposed to be. This is the life that we should be living. Carefree, learning about each other, finding out what ways that we can better improve ourselves in so many different ways. So, Glenroy, this whole, not waking up 2 days in a row the same. It's absolutely a great analogy that we need to like draw from. What is it? You can start to think at the end of the day, what did I do differently that I didn't do yesterday? What did I learn yesterday that I didn't learn a few days ago? These are all signals or indications that you are growing. All right. So we now can understand and see when things are not in alignment easily. So much easier when we were in our 20s and in our 30s. I know when to say no. Absolutely no. That I'm not doing that. That is not for me. Don't ask me. Or I don't have a problem with saying, hey, I'm not going. Okay. I don't have like FOMO like that, which is fear of missing out. Okay. I'm not that girl anymore. All right. Because I know what is in alignment. So rebranding at this stage isn't a makeover, it's really this masterpiece unveiling, right? You're not starting over, you're really starting with power. So that was the second question that I frequently get. Okay. Number 3, can I be powerful and soft without people questioning my leadership? Okay. Can I be powerful and soft without people questioning my leadership? Um, so this has been very interesting for me to answer, especially after retiring. Um, I didn't ever think that I could be soft. I mean, I was sometimes, I had empathy, but I had the nurturing um trait. But it didn't come out as much as I would have liked it to. So there's always this like this aggressiveness. We were talking about this at brunch earlier too. This aggressiveness that we have, when we're in this uniform, because it almost as if it comes with the uniform. But what I've been sharing is pretty much yes. And not only can you, but you must. Okay. Looking back, there were some incidences where I could have been a little bit more softer. I absolutely could have been. But I took the other way of, okay, nope, this is what we're going to do. You're going to do it now. All right. You're going to report into me tomorrow. We're going to figure this out. And we're going to, and it was that kind of on top, really hard. And it didn't have much room for me to like explain or anything like that. But we've been conditioned to believe power looks like control, that it looks like command, that it looks like coldness. Okay. Just take a look around when people are in powerful positions. Sometimes that is what you see, that's what they embody. But true leadership, especially in this new era, it's emotional intelligence. Okay. And it's grace and it's conviction in one beautiful package. We are all having, we need to have this like insight, perspective on how we should show up, because softness is not weakness. All right. And power is not performance. We can lead the room very quietly without getting all excited and banging your fist on the table, because this is what I've seen and this is what I've heard throughout my career. We don't have to be doing all that. Okay, Glenroy said, yes, simply put, you get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. Be the leader people want to follow and not the reason they want to flee. Absolutely. And then he also said, people will always remember how you make them feel. It's so true, and again, this is for me has been one of the things that I've had to, incorporate more and more and more into my life, is to soften up. And right, I am a woman. All right. I do love my femininity. I do love, being the wife, okay? Because my husband wants to be married to a woman. I'm just saying. All right. And so, we have our son. We both can't be like hard on our son. I get to offer him more kindness, more care, more, grace, if you will. If he messes up or does something wrong, I don't need to get all fired up about it. I don't. Okay. So being both really is a superpower. If you can find the right mix, all right, it is a superpower. It's not your liability. So when you own that, others will fall in line with the energy. So you definitely can. So thank you, Glenroy, for all of the insights as well on the Facebook. But that's something that I've been getting questioned about here recently. Okay, next question. How do I transition from military boots, or corporate blazers to owning my authentic brand? All right. So many times people don't know that I served in the military unless I share it with them, like much later, or unless somebody else shares it with them. And I think that is just one of the best things that I can. It's like one of those secrets that you can keep to yourself and only use it when you need to. And I wanted to really find who Rochelle was. I have a picture of me when I was a young girl, and I always look at that picture and go, what would she think of me right now? What would she say if she saw me right now? And transition is hard, y'all. Like it was a hard pivot for me. For so long I was wearing a uniform. I knew how to show up. I felt comfortable being uncomfortable. I love the structure. All these things. But you can't always live in that and express yourself fully. So I wanted to be able to express myself fully. So you have to take the discipline, and use it to your advantage. All right. So take the discipline, you take the structure, if those are the environments from where you were at, but you leave the uniform and you build your own runway. Okay. And it's not about abandoning your past, because I believe our past is so much good for, so good for us to see from where we came from to where we are right now. It's really about translating your legacy, because I'm all about legacy building and generational impact. It's translating your legacy into a new language of leadership. Okay, so I don't talk about ranks or anything like that. I lean more into, what is my reputation? Okay, what do I want my reputation to be? I don't follow orders. I don't take orders, y'all. Okay, from anybody. Okay, um, I follow my purpose now. If it feels good, as a, meaning that it fills my cup and it gives me the sense of fulfillment, I'm following that. And I also understand that I am the brand. In the military, I didn't understand personal branding. I didn't even know that I was really building a brand until much later in my career. And then, I was like, oh, I've got my own way of doing things. So you're not your title, you're not the role, you are you. So what are you bringing out? All right. Your lived experience is your intellectual property. All right. Now you can package that up, you can position it, you can do whatever you want with it, but you need to lead with you and not anybody else. Okay. Especially when you have the time and you have the opportunity to do so. Glenroy says, keep the military standards. The professional world is kind of sloppy in some spaces, but definitely ensure there is something about you that people remember. I'm kind of a big guy, muscular. You wear bright colors and make sure I smell good. Okay. This is how some people remember me in some spaces. Yes. Like I said, it's the little details that you can leave lingering well after you left. And getting that special code for you, that own blueprint for yourself, is so important. that you need to just like take the time and figure out what it is that you want people to say about you when you're not in the room. Okay. Okay. So next question. What's next for me when I spent years putting everyone else first? Okay. I hear this a lot. And sometimes I didn't see myself putting everyone else first in a lot of ways, but I was. Okay, so we in this community, we are all pretty much in service. I know there's many of us who have um, spent years serving in the military. Some of us have come from the corporate world or still in the corporate world. Some of us are still active duty, actually. Some of us have retired. Some of us are in the political space. So some of us are community leaders at different levels. So we are of service. And sometimes we don't see service as putting everyone else first. But when it comes to if it comes to the detriment of your health and your family's well-being, then we need to stop and we need to think about like what are we doing? Okay. So if that's you and you're asking, well, what's next for me? I've been doing everybody else and now I want to do me. Next is whatever you choose. Okay. It's whatever you choose. If you recognize that you matter, okay, do whatever makes you feel right. This question usually comes from guilt, it comes from grief, and a whole lot of second guessing. That's where this comes from. Self sacrifice isn't a strategy for success, it's really a slow death of dreams. Okay. So if you're sacrificing yourself all day long and you got big dreams and you got big vision, all right, this is where we get to pull back a little bit and ask yourself why. Because we can't pour from an empty cup. We all know that. It's really time to prioritize our vision, our voice, and our value. And the best way to serve others now is just show them what's possible when a woman or a man, because we have our men in our space, chooses themselves. Okay. So we built everyone else's dreams. Now it's good time for us to build our own. Okay. Leave the lingering details well after you have left the room. That's a nugget. Yes, yes, it is. All right. Y'all better be taking notes because I'm telling you, Glenroy's over here and he is putting information in here that I'm going to use and I'm going to go back to and make sure I'm getting it right. Okay. So again, this is a Slate to Success talk show. I am your host, Rochelle Slate Queen Hemingway, and we're going over the top 10 questions that I get on a regular basis. If you're here for our first time, thank you for being here. If you're just listening in because you are out doing whatever it is that you do on Sunday night, thank you so much for being here and listening in as well. Listen, share, subscribe. All right. Go over to the YouTube channel. I got like 1,001 videos over there, y'all. Like you can binge watch all day, every day if you wanted to. Okay. Make sure you subscribe because I'm downloading my videos up in there as I get them. And then make sure that you share, and share to someone who you think would benefit from this discussion that I'm having tonight, because you never know who may need it. This may not be for you. This may be for somebody else. Okay. Chevy says, I'm loving this. Okay. All right. Because we on question number 6. Okay. Number 6, y'all. How do I stop shrinking when I walk into rooms that weren't built for me? Okay. So I also got this at brunch today too. All right. We often go to places where we don't know anybody. All right. And sometimes we just sit at the table or sitting on our chair and we're waiting for people to come up to us and talk to us. And because maybe we're an introvert or maybe we just don't want to initiate conversation, sometimes something happens and we're just like, I'm just going to sit here and I'm just going to wait it out. Okay. And then all of a sudden You just can't find the right words to say when somebody comes to you because you're like, oh my gosh, somebody's actually talking to me, right? This is my thoughts. Okay. Why are we waiting? So let's stop waiting to be invited to the party. Okay. You are the party. That's what I got in my head all the time. Lottie Dottie having parties. I am the party. All right. So you're going to be the initiator. You're going to start showing up like the room needs you. Okay. Instead of you thinking, oh, why am I here? And I'm not quite sure who I'm going to meet. I'm not sure if I should even talk because I won't know anything or they won't know. I can best believe you. Somebody else in the room is feeling the same way. But the other thing is they need you. Okay? They need you. When you have all that you have and you have a lot to share, you have no idea who you're going to touch, what life you might be touching just by you sharing a small little antidote. Okay? So my recommendation when my girl asked me today, like, what should I be doing? I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I just ask, what would you be doing if you weren't in here? Okay. Like sometimes that we just got to get like real with the situation. Not everybody likes to be going to these networking events or to these places, but at no point are we going to ball up, all right, and go in a fetal position and sit in the chair and act like we're not there. Okay. A non slay nation. That's not what we're doing. All right. So you're going to you're going to walk in there with your story. Okay. You're going to be so grounded in your personal brand that no space can make you second guess your seat at the table. All right. So we weren't made to fit in. We were meant to be a force. Shrinking doesn't protect us at all. It dims our light and silences our value. So we have to bring this perspective, okay, that no one else can replicate. We are one of one. And when you figure out that that's what you could do in those moments, that's power. All right. So let's stop sitting in the corner. All right. Waiting at the table, waiting for somebody to come up. Please, 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 please talk to me. And then when they start talking to you, you don't even know what you're talking about. All right. We got to get it together. Okay. The one place that is overflowing with great aspiration and dreams that could have possibly changed something in the world. Yes. I'm pushing the button that says see more. Is in the cemetery. Okay. Don't let your ideas or dreams journey into the great beyond with you. It's your responsibility to allow them to manifest while you have breath in your lungs. Absolutely. Yeah, we all pass by cemeteries in our neighborhoods or where we're at. And, people have had some big dreams or big visions for themselves and they never went for it because you know why? Because people were telling them, no, don't be doing that. That's too big. That's too much. You ain't ever going to do it. That's stupid. I've heard a whole bunch of things, Queen. And Kings. I've heard a lot, especially like, well, how's your little business going? I don't have a little business. Okay. I don't have a little business. It's not little. So, sometimes people say words that they're not very mindful of, but we can't allow that to stop us into our tracks and pursue what we're trying to pursue. But again, let's stop shrinking in these rooms that we are invited into. When we are invited into the room, this is our opportunity to really walk in with our story, even our scars that we've had, and of course, this style. Okay. And I'm going to tell you now, when we are invited to these parties and we know we need to show up, I'm going to need you to get these fits right. Okay. Let's get these fits right because that is one of the best ways that we can walk in with the confidence that we really need. And people will be turning the heads. Okay. We want people to turn heads. All right. In my world, what I work on is personal branding. We turn heads. Okay. All right. So we will bring power into rooms instead of shrinking ourselves. All right. Next question. What if I'm multi-passionate and I don't know how to choose just one thing? I get this all the time. Hey, Dwayne, what's going on here? How you doing? A person that have friends must show himself friendly. Know who you are and know who the Lord say you are. Fearfully and wonderfully made. A to the men. Yes. Thank you so much for being here. Absolutely love this. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. You and Glenroy are going to be in competition because Glenroy is on the Facebook side. And Glenroy says, you will never get the date with the pretty girl unless you ask. Closed mouths don't get fed, and closed hands don't get paid. Okay, y'all better get on over there to Glenroy, okay? And then I'm telling you, we are on it. Okay. All right. Let me keep going because my battery is coming out on my iPad over here, and I might have to go to my laptop for these questions. All right. So, what if I'm multi-passionate and don't know how to choose just one thing? All right. All right. So you just don't need to choose one. You need to create a through line that connects them all. A through line that connects them all. I am very passionate about a lot of things. Okay. I show that every day. Okay. When I in my gym, I work out really hard. I will show you videos and pictures that I'm in my gym working. I'm very passionate about health and fitness. All right. I'm very passionate about what I'm doing as an entrepreneur. I'm very passionate being a basketball mom. I'm very passionate about um, designing things on my Cricut machine. Okay. I love to watch crime shows. So, like, these are some of the passions that I have. If you have lots of these, you create a through line. All right. Because multi passionate isn't confusing, it's a gift. But we have to have them aligned in such a way. All right. So that's why I use personal brand. Okay. They're back to personal branding, y'all, because it acts as an umbrella that ties everything together: your vision, your values, and your voice. Okay, you are the common denominator. If you're multi-passionate, you are the common denominator in all of these things, and your brand is the bridge. It is not the boxes. Okay, society wants to put us in boxes and say only do this one thing, only do this one thing. All right, and they want us to put us into this box, but we need to make sure that our message shows our passions built on each other and they're not in competition with one another. Okay, so I do say, hey, lead and from one thing. Like, what is the one thing that you can focus on and share and talk about all the time? All these other things are in the background, but as people get to know you, they want to work with you, they want to partner with you, collaborate with you, we bring out all these other passionate things, okay, to the forefront. So, and you know it, okay, that's what we doing. We are slaying all day every day. Okay, and then Glenroy says multi-passionate is another word for holistically driven. If God gives you multiple ideas, there's a way you align them to fit and be productive within your brand. This right here, Glenroy, is it. It's exactly true. It will all fit into the umbrella. So my brand, of course, Slay to Success, Slay to Success, Slay to Success. And when you hear Slay to Success, I hope that you hear health, okay, because that's what we're doing. We're working out. We're making sure that our bodies, because they are the vessel, that we are putting the right energy into it, the right nutrition. We're moving our bodies. Slay also for fashion, because I absolutely love to dress up and get dolled up and go to all these different events and so forth and so on and do it right. Okay. Where people are like, where did you get that from? Oh my goodness, I love that combination. All that, right? I love to just have experiences, new experiences. So yes, all that can be packaged up the right way. And I love that analogy, Glenroy. So keep them coming. Keep them coming. Okay, the next one is, how do I speak confidently about myself without feeling like I'm bragging? Okay, how can I speak confidently about myself without feeling like I'm bragging? Okay, and this is a tricky one, because I think when people see you out sharing on social medias, I do lives, podcasts, talk shows, all these things, and I'm all over the place out here. And I just think that bragging is rooted in ego. Okay, I I share what I'm doing to inspire, to motivate, to help, to encourage someone else who may not be feeling like they can do what I'm doing. You absolutely can. What I'm doing is really about getting rooted into service. Okay, I am serving other people and allowing them to see how I'm doing that differently outside of the uniform. And when you speak with intention about your wins, you're showing others what's possible. All right. So we're not just putting out information. Usually we're sharing that somebody else is with us. I always, especially on LinkedIn, I like to tag other people that experience what I experience, so that you can see who else I'm, like seeing or collaborating with. Um, and you're not boasting, really. I don't think that, if you're doing it where people are being receptive, it's actually building credibility. And that's what people want. They want the know, like, trust factor. They want the person that looks the same here on the actual TV, whatever, or that is in person. So confidence is not loud, okay? It's not about perfection. You're not spotlight chasing at all. You're showing up to shine so others can shine too. And you're practicing saying what you do with clarity, with no disclaimers, because you earn every accolade and then some. All right. I think some of us are taught to be too humble. All right. We have done so many things, and we just say, oh, well, my team did this, my team did that. Okay. Yeah. But who was the driver of the team? Usually we discredit a lot of things that we were able to do in our lives because we have been conditioned to do so. All right. So I've been out here in this world that we're living in. You have to be top of mind. You have to be top of mind. And you do have to explain to people what you are doing and the results and the impact that you're making. So as long as you are including, like things that are that people can look at and say, no, that's it. They're really talking about how this whole experience can be for everyone. All right. They may be the leader in this industry. I'm the leader of Slay Nation. Okay. Slay Nation. All right. We have been the underdogs. I would say the underdogs in some cases. All right. And we are blossoming out of our shells, if you will, and uncovering who we always been. Okay. So I'm just saying, Um, and Glenroy says, who you are and what you have accomplished is nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, this is the Florida West Indian man coming out. It should make others second guess what they are doing with their lives to the degree they inquire how you have accomplished what you have accomplished. Okay? You don't have to be nasty, but it's all right to be regal. Hello. Okay? This is not about like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and it's not the one up. It's owning what you have done and sharing in such a way where you're inspiring others into action. All right. They want to start moving out like that, and they want to start moving differently. So you just have to speak with intention. All right. And this is not about just, getting out there and just laying all out there all the time. All right. So just kind of temper it every now and again. I don't I share a lot. I do share a lot. But I think it's important that I always show up. All right. You should always be showing up for the community that you are leading. And they need to know what you're doing. Okay. All right. Next question. How do I build my brand when I'm still healing or figuring it all out? Okay? How do I build my brand when I'm still healing or figuring it all out? Okay. This is what I share. Okay? You don't wait until you're finished to show up. You build as you heal. All right? You speak from the scars and not the wounds. Your story has power even in progress. All right. And vulnerability builds connection, but clarity builds trust. So be honest. Okay. Be strategic. Share what you've overcome, not what you're still bleeding from. Okay. Because healing and building aren't mutually exclusive, they are parallel tracks and both are valid. So I'm in my healing journey. Okay. I'm in my healing journey. I didn't know that a lot of things affected me in service. But I don't come from a place where I'm still hurting badly. And then all of what I'm exuding and putting off, it's not helpful. It's not helpful. All right. I have scars. Like I have invisible scars, like many of us do. But understanding that you can still build a strong, memorable, reputable brand, even through the healing journey. Okay. If you need mental health therapy, you need to get mental health therapy. All right. To help you, to walk you through some of these situations, circumstances that you may be going through. All right. So I'm telling you, y'all, though, building a brand for yourself can be one of the most freeing things that you could do during transition, and building it every day and really understanding what is looking right, what is not, what can I adjust, what can I do, that kind of sort of thing is so helpful. And Dwayne said, choose a good reputation over great riches. Being held in high esteem is better than silver or gold. Proverbs 22:1. Yes. Okay. So we all have to see where we're at, and this is just about bettering ourselves. I say this is personal development. What I share is mostly in the personal development realm. All right. So healing and building aren't mutually exclusive. Okay. And they're both valid. So just be honest about where you're at. Be very strategic about what you're sharing, because some things you don't need to be sharing. Okay. Not until you're in a good place to actually give something, something's useful that comes out of that. All right. And then lastly, number 10, what if I don't feel stylish enough to be seen? And this one was kind of like I was trying to get more out of this question, like what exactly are you speaking to? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And beauty is subjective, y'all. Okay? So I'm all about presence. Okay? Having more of a polished presence. And our image doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be aligned. Our style isn't about trends and whatever everyone else is doing. It's about the visual representation of our message. And when we feel good, we lead differently. Period. Okay? So we have to let our outer appearance reflect the inner work that we've been doing, because we put in work for ourselves, and we don't have to be perfect, but we do need to be present. Okay. So, and Glenroy says, every brand that is built has its own blueprint and framework. You are the engineer. Brands are being built and remodeled every day behind the scenes. One thought or even a lapel pin that gets attention at an event can be the difference in brand design and construction. Absolutely. It's the littlest things that you can add. And these are messages to ourselves. All right. The way that we're building our own brand is a message to ourselves to remind us of what we can do differently. I wear pink because pink stands for nurturing, empathy, grace, free, energy, all the things that I have to share to myself all the time that I need more of. There is an intentional reason behind it. So you can also create that for yourself. All right. And this is all by doing the identity work, finding out who you are, figuring out like, how do you want to show up in your messaging? What are the stories that you want to tell people that you really think that will be helpful for someone else to make impact for them? A lot of us want to do meaningful work now. All right. We are in our 40s, 50s, 60s. We want to be doing meaningful work. We just need to know what we need to do to make that presence be known. All right. And one that we can continue on, and then legacies and generations understand what we were doing and why we were doing it. And then they will catch up and they will do the same thing. All right. So I just gave over the top 10 questions that people mostly ask me. All right. So thank you so much, because we are at the top of the hour, y'all. Dwayne's got a comment here. He said, never let loyalty and kindness leave you. Tie them around your neck as a reminder. Write them down within your heart. Then you will find favor with both God and people, and you will earn a good reputation. Proverbs 3, 3 and 4. I love this. Thank you so much for that. That is so, so good. Okay. Tie them around your neck as a reminder and write them deep within your heart. Okay, y'all? Because we want brands that people will recognize, but recognize for the right reasons. Positive interactions. Being able to have this person that you can look straight in the mirror every single day and be like, I'm her or I'm him. Okay. Style is subjective. It is basically an accepted and approved opinion. You create your own style, and that is another dynamic behind branding and marketing. Absolutely. Do your own thing. Don't look to the left, right, front, back anymore. Look at you, find out what's most unique to you and what you can express in your own unique way. And I bet you'll be building a brand that is slaying. Okay. All right. So I want to thank all of the people who have dropped in live to the show. We had Chevy and Dwayne and Dr. Joseph on the LinkedIn side. So thank you so much, y'all. And then we had Glenroy, and we had Uncle Fiatis. My uncle was here. Jeba was watching. All on the Facebook side. So thank you so much, y'all, for being with me tonight. And next Sunday, hopefully I'll have a guest. Maybe one of you that is here tonight will drop me a DM and say, hey, I want to be a guest on the Slate to Success Talk Show. I would love to have you. Love to have you. Okay. So I will see you all on Tuesday, hopefully. All right. AJ is still in basketball, y'all. So we will see what this all looks like for this week. So anyway, I will see you all very soon. Keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. I appreciate you all being here with me tonight, and I will see you all soon. Bye. Love y'all.